Hello, film fans. Welcome to the Film vs. Film podcast. My name is Martin Harries, your host, and I'm joined by the film encyclopedia man, Boaz Dix. We are a couple of filmmakers on occasion, but mainly can't stop yapping about movies. On this podcast, every episode we pick a topic from a film that's coming out at the cinema or on VOD. Myself and Boaz pick our favourite film from that topic, and we battle it out to decide which film will become the greatest film of all time, according to two film geeks from Wiltshire, England. If you enjoy this podcast, please leave us a review and subscribe. Hello, Podsters. This week, as Nomadland comes out in cinemas, we will be talking Frances McDormand films, who stars in the film, who won an Oscar for this film, Nomadland. And this week we're going to talk about the two films she won her other Oscars in. As ever, I am with the Mr. Encyclopedia man, that is Mr. Boaz Dix. How are you, sir?
I'm very good.
Good. Let's go with my pick first, I reckon. My pick first is the Joel and Ethan Coen movie Fargo.
They're just the Coen brothers.
Coen brothers, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody actually say their full name.
All right. You didn't know who they were? Joel and Ethan.
I just thought that was their name, the Coen brothers, you know.
Joel is actually Frances McDormand's husband as well. So, yeah.
Really?
They've known each other for a long time. She's pretty much nearly in every single Coen's movie, pretty much. Yeah, she's very highly likely to be in one.
Is it a sort of, who is it, Tim Burton situation, you know?
What, Helena Bonham Carter?
Yeah, Helena Bonham Carter is like in everything.
A little bit, yeah. I don't think are they still together? I don't know.
No idea.
Right. What happens in Fargo then? A character called Jerry Londegaard, played by William H. Macy. He's a car salesman and he's trying to do this dodgy deal where he's trying to sell off this car, but like to these criminals, so he can get loads of money out of his wife's dad, who's like super rich. So he plans on kidnapping his own wife so he can get his dad to pay up the ransom, and then he'll get some of the money. And then it basically all goes very pear-shaped for Jerry. And Frances McDormand's character is a police detective called Marge, and she's very diligent. And it's basically, it feels like very much a routine day for her, even though this whole crime is very gruesome and very strange, with people.
And she's pregnant.
Yeah, when she sees people get thrown into a wood chipper, it doesn't surprise her, it seems like. It seems like a very normal occurrence in Minnesota. But there we go. Yeah, that's the film. It's a very quirky and weird film. Before we get into it, I'll just add that we're going to change up the structure of this podcast and see how we like it. Before we go, we went from very much rigid segments of directing, screenplay, and acting. This week, we're going to just try something a little bit different and just have more of an open discussion about what we like about the film, and then we'll do the scores and the favourites at the end of the film, and then do the same with the other movie. Right. Boaz, what did you like about this film?
Yeah, I agree. It's quirky. It's really quirky. But it's like, it's also just, I don't know, it's a strange film. It's a really strange film. I do like the sort of, the mundaneness of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, people are talking and just the way they talk is so, it's like overly polite and just kind of like, just about really mundane stuff. But it's at the backdrop of like, this crazy kidnapping gone completely wrong, I liked, Steve Buscemi.
Yeah. His character, Carl.
Yeah, man, he was brilliant. Yeah, he was great. So anytime he was on screen, that was a joy.
And his partner, Peter Stormare, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
As Grimsard.
Yeah.
Grimsard.
No, I just thought, it was pretty cool. And then, there were lots of little twists and turns. And it's just like nothing's going right, really, for anybody, any of the criminals or anything.
Yeah, you're right. There's so many, like, quirky elements to this film, let alone, like, how they talk. I'm very fond of how they talk. It's just really great to hear. I'm not like trying to take the piss. It's just funny to us anyway.
Yeah.
You've got to think there's a bit where like Marge and Norm have like mountains of food at a buffet. I'm just like, Jesus, they're hungry. And there's a scene where Jerry is like reassuring his son in his bedroom, and then when he shuts the door, there's a poster of a man like grinning his face off playing an accordion. It's quite an emotional scene. Then you see this ridiculous image. It's like, oh, okay, that's odd.
Yeah. Or when they're going to kidnap her as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like she's watching the TV and he's just peering out of the window, like in full view of everything. She can't see because she's so engrossed in the time. It's stuff like that. It shouldn't be funny.
She's like doing her knitting, isn't she?
Yeah, she's just knitting. It shouldn't be funny, but it's like, what the hell is going on?
And I'm just like, are you going to do something? I mean,
a
guy in a balaclava with a crowbar is literally peering through your window and you're doing nothing, okay? Yeah. And then she goes crazy. She screams off, and then Peter Stormare comes through the front door, and they end up being locked in the... Well, she hides herself in the bathroom, and there's a great moment where... Like he's trying, because he hurts his hand, I think, Peter Stormare.
Yeah, she bites him. She bites him on the hand, so he tries to find some like antiseptic.
Yeah. And he's looking in the mirror, because they think she's gone out the window. But he's looking in the mirror, and then he slowly looks into the mirror and then notices that something's behind the curtain. Then it's kind of like a really nice, like, jump scare, if you will, as she bursts out of the bathroom with with the shower curtain all covered around her, and she's just freaking out and just knocks herself out by falling down the stairs, which is quite funny.
I like the bit as well when Frances
McDormand, that is the episode we're doing. Yeah.
Frances McDormand. I'll just call her Frances. Yeah. Anyway, where she's interviewing like the two prostitutes who slept with
That's
them.
My favourite bit of line.
Yeah, that was so funny. Yeah, I love that. It's just kind of so funny and kind of weird. Like they say a lot, like "oh yeah, oh yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah, oh yeah." It's just ridiculous. And they're talking about what was it? Steve Buscemi goes, "Can you tell us anything about about these fellas?" And he's like, "The little one was kind of funny looking. Funny looking. How do you mean?" Well, he wasn't circumcised. It's like, any other way? Yeah. It's kind of funny looking.
The funny looking line comes up again when another
it comes up quite a few times. Yeah,
is talking to a guy in the street, and he says the same thing. He was kind of funny looking, and he's asked like, in what way? Just in a general kind of way, But yeah,
Steve Buscemi, kind of funny looking.
He is a bit, to be fair, in a general way.
He is quite funny in a general way. He isn't circumcised,
Yeah, the scene with Marge interviewing the two hookers is brilliant, and it ends by one of them saying, "Hey, they're going into the Twin Cities. Oh yeah, yeah. Was that useful to you? You betcha. Yeah. Just in the way they say it, it's just so funny." That's my favourite line, to be fair.
Anyway, like the larger Peter, he was quite an intimidating character. He's like a serious criminal. Everybody else is kind of, pretty stupid and what have you. He is pretty intimidating. I do love his banter with Steve Buscemi. I even think that's it's intimidating yet quite hilarious. Where he's trying to get him to talk. He's like, we've been fucking driving for like a week, and that's the most you've said is no. He's like, you want to give me the silent trip? I give you the silent trip. I won't talk to you. Let's see how you like that.
He just keeps on talking.
Yeah.
I mean, I even like the kind of really dramatic scene where Carl, Steve Buscemi's character, like shoots Gene's father. And he says, "Oh, geez," in slow motion, and he falls to the ground. And it's just like weirdly funny. And just like how Buscemi gets shot in the mouth, and he fires off his gun as he falls, and it's just again laced with a little bit of humor for me. I just found that whole scene a bit weirdly funny. It's still having like dramatic music on there. Oh yeah, and also the way like when Jerry comes up in the car, he just like pops his trunk open just to pick up his father-in-law. It's just like he doesn't get out in shock or anything. The shot is just him coming up in the car, pops the boot, as we call it. and that's it. It's just very cold from Jerry.
I also like when he's being questioned, because she doesn't know at all at this point, towards the end.
Yeah.
Like Frances. She's got no idea really what's going on. She's just following the leads. And I just love how he's like just so agitated.
Yeah, he's really tense, isn't he?
He's really tense, just straight off the bat. He looks suspicious as hell. I quite like that.
And then it ends with like Marge saying, "Okie dokie, thanks a bunch. I'll let you go back to your paperwork then." It's just such a like everyday thing for Marge.
Yeah.
Just being so super diligent in her work.
This town, it does sound like marvelous. It's like they're all. I'm just serious. Like they're all just so chill and all really, really polite. But,
so, any other particular shots that you liked?
When the cop they shoot the cop. So that was a great shot. I mean, that whole struggle and bang, that was crazy. And how it kind of goes onto Steve Buscemi's face. But even like when they're hauling the body away, and you see the other car, and it's just like the other car. You see the person and you see Peter's face, and he's just like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
I really like that whole sequence of shots.
Yeah, he drives after them, and then you see the car is turned over.
Yeah, that was really effective as well. It's like he's following red tail light through the snow and stuff. Can't really see it, and then can't see a red tail light. It's like, oh my god, where did they go? And drives past them and sees the. I thought that was a really good sequence of shots.
It was a really nice composition, actually, when he comes off the road and sees the overturned car, and he gets out of the car and he's still got his headlights on, and he's kind of backlit, and his headlights light up the other car, and he sees the guy in the red coat run off, and you just know in that kind of that mise en scène, if you will, that he's going to kill both of them. It's just a really nice shot, really, of just impending doom for these characters. And also the moment, as you said, the moment when he just shoots the cop, he just like grabs his coat, knocks him out and shoots him. It's just like so cold and just, again, like a very everyday thing he would do. And even like when when he's like, "Oh, I want near the end with Buscemi," they go back to their cabin or whatever, their hideout, and he says, "Oh, I want like the car or whatever." Buscemi's like, "You can't halve the car."
Yeah, you can't. I want half the car. Yeah, and he's like, "No, one of us pays the other half of the cost of the car." And he's like, "No way in hell. I got shot. Go fuck yourself."
And again, he's just got this very cold look on his face. Then Buscemi fucks off, and the next thing you know, he's got an axe in his neck.
Yeah. I actually really like the character that Peter played, because it's basically these two guys. It's like Steve Buscemi is Steve Buscemi. He's quite mouthy and just, quite full of energy and stuff, and, quite sort of weird, and he's panicking all the way through, and, he wants to talk. And basically Peter is just like the Terminator. He's just doesn't say anything. He doesn't really care. He's really cold, got no emotion. Actually, I think the only emotion you see from him, and this made me laugh, is when Steve Buscemi came in, after he'd gotten shot, to tell him. And they've just got the TV working, and he's watching, like, some really terrible, soap. And the woman goes, "And that's right, the baby's yours." And he goes, he just has his mouth open for a bit, like, whoa. That's like the only emotion he shows.
And it just feels like he's just killed him because he's just interrupted his watching of the TV as well. It's just like, we do the fucking deal. Oh, screw it. I'm just going to kill this guy and I'll stick him in the wood chipper and then get back to my TV show.
Yeah, no, because he's even so heartless, like, when he's watching the show. The girl's dead,
Yeah.
So it could, maybe that's his thing. Don't interrupt him when he's watching the shows. Yeah, no, but it was pretty good. I did like Larry.
Jerry,
that's the one. Jerry, yeah.
no names pass.
Jerry's way... Shut the fuck up. They are whatever I say they are.
William H. Macy, yeah. Carry on.
William H. Macy, yes. I knew that. So anyway, Willie, as I like to call him affectionately.
All right.
I quite liked him, Not as like he just conveys the whole. He's completely over his head. Over his head. This is just insane.
Yeah.
He's even trying to take control of the situation, but I love how he's just kind of bullied out of it by his. Even during this, he's constantly being belittled and undercut by his father-in-law. I just find that quite amusing. He doesn't really.
Yeah, William H. Macy is brilliant in this as well, and there's a few great moments from him.
He is really good.
One from Buscemi as well, when Buscemi gets beaten up by like the mechanic that works for Jerry because he's been questioned by Marge and he's kind of freaking out a bit, and he phones Jerry and he's pissed obviously and he wants his money and says, "Hey, you're there in 30 minutes or I'll find you, Jerry, and I'll shoot you and your fucking wife and I'll shoot all your fucking children and I'll shoot them all in the back of the fucking head. You got it?" And Jerry's response is so polite and he says, "Okay, now you stay away from Scotty now." It's just ridiculously polite after he's just been sworn at multiple times of all his family being completely threatened. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine if you killed my wife, it's fine. And don't touch Scotty." And there's another great funny moment from Jerry when he gets off the phone from Buscemi wanting his money, literally straight after that scene, I think. And also the car dealer that wants to find out what the serial numbers are, where are these cars, and then you cut to a wide shot outside of his office and then he's just like smashing something on his office. That made me laugh out loud. That was brilliant.
Do you remember when she's like investigating the crash site? Oh
yeah.
And I like that. She bends down and the officer is like, "Oh, you found something else there, Marge?" It's like, "No, I was just going to throw up." I'm fine now. It's just morning sickness.
And just the way she says some of the lines is just funny, where she says, "There's a high-speed pursuit, ends here, and then this execution type deal." It's just really funny how the way Frances McDormand delivers the line, It's brilliant.
Yeah. Also, I kind of noticed there was a lot of like static cam, like they would just kind of keep the cam there, and then they would have a lot of the scene, just not necessarily the whole thing is in one take shots. That's not what I'm saying, but not necessarily following around characters. Just have the camera basically stationed still, and it's almost like a play. Certain areas are kind of like that. There's quite a few scenes like that where it's like the camera's just there. And stuff goes on in the area.
Again, it's very much. I don't think the directing is the strongest part of the film. It's very much
it's minimalist,
show and don't tell kind of thing. Let the acting do their thing. We've spoken a lot about that in this podcast, and this is certainly a film that both films I think falls into that category, really. But yeah, there's some really nice shots as well. Like right at the beginning, the long opening shot where a car is towing another and it's coming over the hill in like whiteout conditions, really bad snowy conditions. And when the car comes over the hill, the music becomes more dramatic. And then the title card comes up, Fargo, and it just feels kind of like really epic and just like this is going to be, a dramatic film, I guess. But I just quite like that little shot there.
Also, when Steve Buscemi buries the money.
Yeah.
That's a really cool shot. Just the imagery of it is pretty damn awesome. Him in the frozen wilderness trying to... It's mainly because Jerry kind of lied to them about how much money was actually going to be delivered. Like, he was saying it was an $80,000 ransom, but he's told his father-in-law $1 million, something like that. Yeah, so obviously he said to them, "Oh, you get 40,000, I'll get 40,000." No, he's like going to get, 700,000, 800,000, something like that. He's going to get a lot of money. And when Steve Buscemi is looking at that, he does collect the 40,000 for each of him and Peter, but then buries the rest of it in the in the ice.
Yeah, and obviously this film is not a true story. That's made up. But obviously at the time, people didn't know that. No. Joel and Ethan admitted that quite some years later, just for dramatic effect, calling this film a true story kind of thing. I think at that time, there was kind of similar type murders, but it's very, very loosely based on that. So it's not really a true story. Yeah. But it's interesting you mentioned the buried money, because obviously people didn't know it wasn't a true story. People were actually looking for that money at the time. After they saw the film. Yeah.
Oh
People
my God,
were
that
literally
is
trying to
crazy.
find it. Because obviously in the
That's
film,
insane.
no one
All right.
recovers it, do they? So
No. Wow, that's amazing.
yeah.
So how a film actually inspired a real life treasure
Yeah.
hunt. That is pretty damn cool.
Obviously, they were
That is
very
pretty
disappointed and pissed.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of funny lines and moments in this. I mean, I like the little sex joke in there where Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare are fucking these two hookers, and then cut to the four of them watching The Tonight Show. It's quite funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
And also, there's a moment when like Steve Buscemi is fucking another hooker later on, and she's just on the phone to someone.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Yeah, that was weird.
getting your money's
Yeah.
worth there, Steve. Not.
Yeah, she's on the phone. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, you don't say.
That's very Irish. No, that's why I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna.
It's so hard.
yeah.
It's so difficult. Yeah, man.
Just for that reason
So
alone,
difficult
I'm
to
very
get,
glad Frances McDormand won an Oscar for this film. Because I mean, the line between Minnesotan and Irish / German is quite thin.
Yes, you wouldn't have thought it, but yeah.
But yeah, just going back to this horrific crime compared to this very laid back, very happy demeanor of this town, it's just that contrast between the two, where of this community that just passes them by this horrible crime. It just doesn't feel like it's having a massive impact on them. That's why I think this film is so compelling. Is the interesting thing is about this community and these cops and Marge's character, and not, you know, the actual crime itself. That's the kind of the hook and the interesting thing about this film, you know.
Because they keep going back to as well, like her husband,
Norm.
and his job at Norm, and his job at the post office.
Yeah.
To like a design of stamp.
Yeah.
Like everybody keeps asking him about his fucking stamp.
I know.
You know, or about how when is he going to go fishing? You're like, your wife is trying to solve a murder case here. What is... Yeah, it's just it's quite
yeah,
strange.
and then at the end, you know, Marge and Norm just talk about, as you said, the stamps situation with her husband. You know, and it's not about this gruesome murder case at all. This script is very much about this horrible crime, about this desperate car salesman who's getting his wife kidnapped for loads of ransom money, and the criminals end up killing each other, and you have this incredibly polite and charming police department working on this case. And then when Marge arrests Grimshaw, I think that's his name, Peter Stormare's character, when he's just talking to him in the back of a cop car, she just says at the end, like, I just don't understand it. No victorious comment like that she's nicked this guy. It's just like Marge is just disappointed in him and just moves on, like he just stole a dog or something.
Yeah.
You know,
there's more to life. Oh, fuck it. I'm not going to do it. That was really Irish. That was very Irish. That was St. Patrick's Day. You know, fucking yeah. That was so Irish. Sorry, man. I was going to say I like when she just says like, "There's more to life than money." You know, just like, you naughty boy.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just telling him off like he's a naughty boy, like a naughty child.
Yeah.
Go stand in the corner.
Mass serial killer. Yeah, he fed a man to a wood chipper. You know, he is insane.
Like, yeah, that's the thing. She doesn't get affected by the fact that she's literally seen a guy being thrown into a wood chipper. It's just like, all right.
I also love the quirkiness. I love the quirkiness of how he's even caught, because it's just these little things. Like, he's stuffing a man into a wood chipper, and she's like, stop, with her gun. And he can't hear, and he's just got a block. And he's still trying to stuff him in the wood chipper.
Then it cuts to this very, very dramatic shot of these cars coming down the road in slow motion. Like the film is kind of trying to pull you back into this dramatic moment in the film kind of thing. That this crime is like super serious, but like it's supposed to be, but to this community it's just not. So what's your favourite shot?
Maybe the wood chipper stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is when Stormare kills the two guys, you know, with their headlights.
Yeah. No, that's a really good one. Yeah, actually, I think I'll go with the headlights, because I did mention that first, and actually, in retrospect, that is the superior shot. That whole sequence is really good, and how it's shot is just amazing.
Yeah.
You know, we've just discussed how it's like he sees them and then goes out. It's just how it's done. It's just
So
really good.
score for directing, Boaz.
I'm gonna give this. This is good. I don't know. I'm gonna give this like a 7.
7? All right.
No, okay.
Don't
7
let me
point-
influence you. I feel like I'm influencing you too much.
Okay, yeah, you are influencing me. Yeah, I'll go
7? Seriously?
Fuck you.
I do think this is one of Joel and Ethan Coen's like best films. I think it's certainly right up there. It's very much got all the quirkiness you want in a Coen brother film. Yeah, again, as I said, it's just putting the camera in the right place and just letting the actors and the script do its thing. And half the time, casting is everything. And I think the casting in this is tremendous. So I think I'll go like 8.2 for me. So screenplay, my favorite was the R sequence with the two hookers when Marge is interviewing them. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a really good scene. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
That'd probably be one of my favorite ones. And yeah, Steve Buscemi and Peter at the end, their last conversation, which doesn't plan out so well.
Okay. So
That
score?
was really funny. I'm 8.5.
Oh, nice. Yeah, again, like a great dark, humoured script. Again, like both scripts are like so brilliantly dark, have brilliant dark humour in it. I think possibly Three Billboards is better in that sense with the dark humour. There's a lot more hilarious moments in that film than this, but I think with this one, it's just you're kind of laughing at the characters in Three Billboards, whereas this one you're kind of laughing with them a little bit because it's just how they are, you know, in this very strange world. I just love this whole thing of you've got this horrible, gruesome crime against this very strange, quirky, happy-go-lucky town, and that combination I found really fun to watch. So I'm going to go like 8.6, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say something that was quite going off topic slightly, just for a minute. But, you know, the TV series.
Yeah, sure.
The TV series is pretty good. Well, at least as much I've watched of it, it's still going on. And I always thought that the film Fargo, the town was called Fargo.
Yeah.
And I thought the town in all of the TV shows is called Fargo. Apparently, the town of Fargo is never in Fargo. It's never shown in...
Well, no,
did you know that?
In the TV show.
Yeah, no, either in the TV show or the film.
They meet when, right at the start, Jerry meets the two criminals in Fargo in North Dakota. That's it. They don't go there again.
Yeah, no, I know. But how weird is that? It's like Fargo is the place you hire criminals. It isn't like the place where all this is going down. I just thought that was kind of weird.
Mm. But I mean, as you said, is this a case where the TV show is better than the movie? Do you reckon? So I don't think that very rarely happens.
Yeah, we were discussing this beforehand. I thoroughly enjoyed the first season of the TV show, like very much so. And just based on that, I haven't really watched that much ahead. But just based on that, I did prefer it to the movie.
I haven't seen the TV show in a while, but neither the film. I just think Frances McDormand's performance is really great, especially as you don't really see her for the first, I don't know, half an hour in the film.
Yeah, you don't see her for quite
and everyone
a while,
else is like really great. You know, Steve Buscemi is great. Peter Stormare, brilliant as well. William H. Macy is a great cast. Have you got a favourite performance?
I think I might go... Again, I'm not... Oh, man, I'm going to do a horrible thing. Jerry, whoever the hell
William
plays
H. Macy.
Jerry. Yeah, that's the one, William H. Macy. Yeah, I think I'll go with
Oh,
him.
okay. Interesting.
I do love Francis's performance. I love everybody's performance. Yeah. But for me, I think that's me.
Okay.
You know? I just kind of connected with me a bit, you know.
All right. Dodgy car salesman.
Slightly trying to root. Yeah, shady car salesman.
All right.
It's welling over his head. He's definitely the bad guy here. But I just kind of was like, I felt quite sorry for him.
You do feel sorry for him at the end, you know, when he gets caught.
I also love how he gets captured because again, it's the typical
like, I'll be there in a minute.
They've set up a being. I'll be there in a minute. You know, I'm coming, and he's going through the window.
Yeah, he just gets dragged out the window in his boxers.
Yeah, man, that was tough.
I think I'm going to stick with Frances McDormand. I think just her presence and just, she encapsulates this sense from this town of this quirkiness and happy-go-lucky feeling in this town, and it all channels from her, really.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with her. So score for acting, Boaz?
I'm going to go 8.7.
Yeah, I'm going to go like 8.9. I think, there's some really great performances all around here. And again, like, as we said, that accent is hard. I would say that accent is really difficult. So I think you've really got to give some kudos there.
As we've proven from each terrible attempt. Yeah, we've gone Dutch, German, all around the globe except bloody Minnesota. Yeah.
Right, let's add up the scores then for Fargo. Fargo gets 49.9, which is pretty good.
Nice. Pretty good.
Just that directing score from Boaz. Terrible.
Oh my god.
What is your film, Mr. Encyclopedia Man?
Mine is 3 Billboards.
Oh my god.
I can't even remember the goddamn title. It's got a really long title.
Oh my god.
It's just right. 3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Thank you. Yes.
Directed by and written by Martin McDonagh, who did 7 Psychopaths in Bruges. And again, Frances McDormand won an Oscar for this performance. Her second Oscar. What happens in 3 Billboards?
Okay, so 3 Billboards is the story of Frances plays Mildred Hayes. So she lives in Ebbing, Missouri, and she buys 3 billboards, outside Ebbing, Missouri, and puts basically a very controversial message of her daughter was raped and murdered, and the police didn't do enough in her opinion. Mm-hmm. So she puts my daughter, raped and murdered while driving. Why haven't you done anything?
Still no arrests.
Yeah, still no arrests. That's it. Yeah, still no arrests. Why haven't you done anything?
Chief Willoughby.
Yeah, Chief Willoughby. Yeah. And, this immediately pisses off the police department, as well as a lot of people in town, because Chief Willoughby is quite well
including
liked.
her son as well. And her ex-husband.
Yeah. And her ex-husband. Basically just alienates her from most people. But yeah, it's just, the film is kind of just about the power of these billboards, what it means to her, and what it means to the town, the police department. It's basically her attempt of trying to get the police to focus on this case, and her dealing with grief and stuff. It's got quite a lot, in this film. On top of that, Chief Willoughby has cancer, so he's not going to live that long.
So what did you like about this film, Boaz? Is there any particular shots that you liked? Any lines or what?
Yeah. There's a lot I liked about it. I like the performances, especially Frances's, just really good. She's a really hard woman who basically just speaks her mind and doesn't care about offending everybody. I love Sam Rockwell in this.
Yeah.
And he has a hell of an arc. He has a huge character arc in it.
He really does, yeah.
And that's not something I was expecting. As soon as you see it, I think he's basically the second major character you see after,
And he won an Oscar for this film as well.
He's really, really good in this. And, his character is... He goes from, not liking him to just man, this guy is pretty cool. I do like.
He basically goes from a stupid asshole cop to you kind of feel sorry for him, asshole cop. Just an asshole you feel sorry for, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
A little bit at the end.
Yeah. And I don't know, and there were a lot of twists and turns in this thing. I thought it would be fairly simple, but a lot of stuff happens past this setup. A lot of hurdles she has to go through, and a lot of crazy things that occur.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, this film, in terms of the morality and ethics of these characters, especially what Mildred goes through. Certainly her plan is to, build these billboards, as she calls it, to focus the minds of the police to find out what happened to her daughter that was raped and killed. But what she didn't anticipate was obviously Chief Willoughby dying of he had cancer and then he shoots himself.
Yeah. That was...
And she doesn't anticipate that.
That was the
at
first
all.
big shock, because there were a lot of big shocks in this film, but that was the first bit where I was like, whoa, what the hell? I like it when a script does that, when a film does that, where you're like, oh, I know how this is going to go, and then it throws you a huge curveball. So you know he's going to die. He's had this amazing... And in retrospect, you should kind of work it out. Like he has this amazing day with his wife and kids. It's really adorable playing, and and does all this, and then it's just he goes to the barn to look after the horses, puts a bag on his head, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then he just shoots himself, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Or does it say, "Don't take the bag off, just call the boys"? Or something.
Oh man, that was crazy.
But yeah, Mildred she doesn't expect that at all, and obviously because she name checks Chief Willoughby on the billboard, and he ends up killing himself. The whole town is pretty much against her.
Yeah,
her ex-husband, her son.
Yeah,
a lot of people. She doesn't have many allies,
and also this absolutely terrifying weirdo that comes to her shop and just starts breaking stuff. And and threatening her. That was pretty damn weird.
And you're not sure in that moment whether she can handle this situation or not. And she was literally saved by the bell with someone else coming in, which ends up being Chief Willoughby's wife, who is kind of pissed at her as well. Certainly after Willoughby's death, no one's really on her side. Only a few people, even Peter Dinklage's character, James, who does feel sorry for her a little bit and covers up the fact that she burned down the police station. She ends up just saying, just screw it, I'm not going to be with you anymore.
Yeah. Well, he only really had a crush on her. That was basically it. Yeah.
There's a few shots I quite liked that it kind of encapsulates that moment in the film where everything's going south and you don't know what moves she has left in this case, where the billboards are on fire and McDormand screams at his son Robbie, and she goes to put out the last fire but then just falls to her knees knowing it's hopeless, and obviously with the added fact that the whole town is against her, and you've got this big wide shot with the last billboard just on fire.
Yeah.
With her son in the foreground. It's just a nice composition there again.
And there was also this shot that I quite liked, because they did it a few times. And it's not so much the shot, it's the context of the shot, it's the music, and it's everything. I just like the way it looks, and it's kind of a little funny. But when Sam Rockwell has always got his bloody headphones in, and is completely oblivious, and so when Willoughby kills himself, he's just got his headphones in, he's just jamming to the music, he's messing around with a little troll doll or something, and he's just screwing around, and you just see behind him all the officers are crying their eyes out, everybody's in a state, and I just love that, and then it happens again when the police station burns down. The police station burns down, he's reading the final letter, written by Willoughby to him, with all this very encouraging stuff, just playing his music. It's much more dramatic, and she is burning the goddamn place to the ground. And I just love that. Yeah. Also, another good shot was when he's in the infirmary.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I thought that was a good shot, because I've never seen anything like that, where it was it goes through his bandages, the camera, and I was getting quite suspicious, just as you'd imagine he would be. That
of what Red was doing.
What Red was doing, because Red has been on the side of Mildred, and actually owns the business that has the billboards, owns the advertising company. When Willoughby kills himself, the first thing that Rockwell does is he just goes straight for Red. That really shocked me as well. I love it thematically, how it does one huge shock of, oh my God, Willoughby killed himself. That is just crazy.
Yeah.
And then just has, straight after that, Sam Rockwell just goes up there and just throws him out the window. I didn't know what to make of that.
That's my favourite shot. Yeah.
It just follows him up there.
It's all in one shot.
All in one shot. He just breaks the door down, just goes up, goes, "What are you doing here?" Just
punches him. Yeah. Well, he breaks the glass. Of the door.
I think he knocks him out with his pistol. That's what he does. He pistol whips him, knocks him out with the pistol, smashes the window, and then just throws him out the window. Yeah.
And then on the way out, he punches the
receptionist,
the assistant, the female assistant.
Yeah.
When she's going crazy, and then he walks back down into the street and punches Red again in the street, and then walks back into the station.
And I love that also the guy you're seeing, because you don't know this at the time, who's watching him do all this is going to be his new chief. He's just like, what the hell? And
he doesn't take his death very well.
No. No, I thought that scene was incredible. But then, as I was saying, I did really like the shot of Red, where you think he might get his revenge, but he actually just gives him some juice.
Yeah. What I found interesting about why that one shot of Sam Rockwell's character Dixon like taking out Red, throwing him out the window, because it's all in one shot. I think that's why you kind of find it funny and quite shocking. Because I think if you cut all around that, I don't think it would work so well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my favourite shot by far, because I just didn't expect it at all for a policeman to just throw someone out the window.
And then what's crazy is you can get a character to do that, and at the end, I actually really like his character, and so does Mildred. Everybody's cool with him at the end. It's like he's the hero, but it's like he was already a scummy person, and then he threw someone out the window. Someone who's a good guy threw him out a window. Yeah, that really did shock me. As a scene, I was like, what the hell?
But just going back to that POV shot that you mentioned in the hospital, I found that really interesting, because obviously it creates some tension of wondering what Red is going to do, but he just gives him some orange juice at the end. And then it's kind of a change in Dixon's character there, because he's just had these two acts of kindness towards him. The other being Willoughby's letter, believing in him that he could be a good detective if he uses, love and and just stays calm and don't use hate and things. And then obviously that's reinforced with the fact that Red doesn't take revenge on him. It's just it's not worth it. It's echoed in another shot where Mildred is at dinner with Peter Dinklage's character James, and when James goes to the little boy's room, no pun intended, where Charlie, John Hawkes' character, Mildred's ex-husband, talks to Mildred and admits that he was the one that burnt down the billboards.
Yeah.
Then he goes back to his table with Penelope. Mildred looks really pissed off, and she calls off the date with James, picks up the wine bottle in a close-up, grips it really tight, and you're like, shit, is she going to make a scene? Is she going to literally hit him with this wine bottle? It creates a lot of tension there. But no, she turns to look at Penelope and says, be nice to her, Charlie. You got that? It's kind of saying for both Red and Mildred that it's just not worth it on these to be shitty on these guys, because it's just not worth it. And then at the end, when they're driving to essentially kill this rapist, they're not convinced by it. They're not sure.
Yeah, they're not sure if it's the right thing to do. Yeah,
they're like. Eh.
But I did like that ambiguity, and we'll talk. We've got a long way to talk about this. Whether this is a good thing to do.
Yeah, she says in the car. She says, "Oh, it was me that burnt down the police station," and then Dixon replies saying, "Who the hell else would it be? Would it have been?
Yeah. I thought that was
quite good.
But he just holds no grudge anymore. It's like. Fine.
He's got nothing to lose,
Nothing to lose, And also Willoughby pays for the next couple of months for the billboards. Yeah, I like his letters, and Red in a kind of very chilled out tone,
just laced again with some humour in there.
Yeah,
some
definitely.
Of them. I mean, there's a lot of funny stuff in this film. Near the start, where the desk sergeant is questioning Red, the advertising guy, who says the billboards are all legally put up, and the cop asks, and where did you check all this out? And he's like, in a book. Which book, genius? Book called Suck My Ass, It's None of Your Business.
I do like all the kind of snappy wit.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they put her, because she goes to the dentist and the dentist is going to drill through her teeth? I love that whole exchange, because it's like, we need to take that tooth out. We haven't looked at it. We need to take that tooth out. And he's going to drill her tooth out, and she drills him in the hand. So she's got to go into the cell. She's in the holding cell. And I just love where Sam Rockwell comes in there, and they have a little confrontation. And because everybody's been nicknaming him like that he tortures N-words. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, you've been back from torturing N-word. I'm not going to say it, but you know what I mean.
You can do. I can cut it out.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I thought it was funny where she was like,
It's hilarious.
yeah, have you been torturing any lately? And he goes, it's colored people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got it written down.
That made
That's
me
my
laugh.
favorite line.
That made me laugh.
Yeah, when Dixon is talking to Mildred in the custody and Wilby comes in and Dixon's explaining to him what happened, and he says, "My mama is against persons of colour torturing. She said torturing. I said she can't say torturing no more. You gotta say persons of colour torturing."
Yeah, ain't that right, Wilby? Wilby's like, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah, isn't that right?
Yeah.
And Sam Rockwell is amazing because he's obviously really pissed with Mildred, but then he hesitates slightly at the end, realizing how stupid he sounds. I think he pauses on like the last bit when you got to say persons of color torturing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I
from Sam Rockwell.
I just really like the writing of this, you know, and the acting and the directing. And the writing is just stellar, man. Just everybody's snap wit on each other,
Yeah.
you know. And just the twists and turns of it, you know.
Just again, there's some great zingers from Sam Rockwell in the bar. He says, "No, it ain't time I go home to my mama. I told her I was going to be out till 12." Actually, it's just like, obviously I make it sound terrible, but when Sam Rockwell says it, it's just
It's brilliant. It's gold.
I'm just so glad he won an Oscar for a fairly comedic performance.
Yeah.
You know, it's brilliant. Dixon says, Dixon says there's been 2 complaints about the billboard, and he says there's a lady with a funny eye and a fat dentist.
Yeah, that was funny.
But then she gets some great lines like, "Oh, I'll go out with you to dinner, but I ain't gonna fuck you."
Yeah.
You know, to James Peter Dinklage's character.
I like Peter Dinklage is just like, well, I ain't either, you know. It's like,
And he's holding the ladder, like, "Yep, I'm like holding the ladder for you. It's fine." And she's like, "You don't have to do it."
yeah.
Oh yeah, one of the other really funny moments from Samara Weaving, who plays Penelope, the 19-year-old Charlie's girlfriend. Yeah, I love the moment when John Hawkes, his character, arrives at Mildred's house and he's really angry, you know, that she's put up the billboard. And he puts Mildred up against the wall and like her son has got a knife to his throat, and then Penelope comes in and says, "Oh, I kind of need to use the bathroom, but it's inconvenient." Actually, it is inconvenient, isn't it? I can see it's inconvenient. I can hold on. It's all right.
Yeah.
You know, and they're just like, "Go to the goddamn bathroom."
Yeah, that was
brilliant.
funny. That was funny. I think one of my favourite lines has got to be, oh man, where after the billboards are burnt down,
Oh, I think I know where you're going.
the newscaster is
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah. So with the burning of this billboard, this chapter in this story has come to an end and stuff. And what does she say? Just read that.
Yeah, this doesn't put an end to shit, you fucking retard. This is just the fucking start. Why don't you put that on your Good Morning Missouri fucking wake up broadcast, bitch?
Yeah.
You know.
I love that. I love that. But she says it with such punch. It's just like, yeah. I love that fucking line. I thought that was good. What's funny is like his mother is a savage. I didn't think she would be like. I thought she was like a sweet old lady. Like everybody was talking about her like that. And then he's like, I just don't know what to do. And she's like, can't you get to her through her friends? You know, it's like, whoa, girl,
That's a good idea.
Yeah, you're a savage. And he like puts, you know, the other girl that's watching her shop puts her in custody. Yeah, that was crazy.
I do actually like when Dixon is reading the letter from Willoughby and it ends by saying in voiceover, "Things are going to change for you. I can feel it." Then boom, the last Molotov, you know, goes, hits him to the floor, and you think in that scene is ironic, and you think, yeah, he's going to feel it because he's going to be burnt alive.
Yeah.
But by the end of the film, he changes because he has nothing to lose and tries to help Mildred catch her daughter's killer.
I think I could tell that the film was going to treat him differently during the fight. Like, basically, he's read this thing, the place is on fire. So this guy, before that, you didn't really care much about him. And, Mildred doesn't know he's in there, but, if he died, whatever. But you can see this letter is quite affecting him,
Yeah.
And it's changing it. And I love that it's on fire. This has been done by Mildred. Yet the first thing he does is save the case report.
Case file, yeah.
The case file, yeah. Because that could have gone up, and they would have had, that's all the evidence they had, But he saves that. He rushes out of the building. And I quite like that.
Yeah, I mean, I love it in films when, like, at the start, like, these two characters literally just despise each other, they hate each other, and then by the end of the film, they work together to fight a bigger enemy. I think I've mentioned this before on this podcast, but I love those type of films.
Yeah, it's a really good dynamic.
Yeah,
you think like there's no way these people can become friends, like they're arch enemies, but it's like actually no, they find like some common ground. It's it's almost like they both go on such big character journeys, they both get ground down. And they come together,
The moment of acting from Frances McDormand is really interesting when she's on the phone with Dixon near the end. He says that the guy that he was going to test the DNA on wasn't the guy.
Yeah, I was worried then. I thought he was going to shoot himself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He had a shotgun. I was like, oh, my God, please don't.
But then he says, oh, I know where he lives. And then McDormand her look just changes ever so slightly, and you can see this steely determination, this steely look on her face.
Especially having gone through, like, vulnerability from the call.
Definitely.
It's like, it's not...
And it's kind of this sense of, like, I've got something I can hang on to now. She needs something emotionally satisfying to get out of this emotional rut that she's in. She needs kind of, like, an act of closure. I know they're basically not going to kill the rapist at the end. They basically admit that, not directly, but you get that sense at the end. But both these characters get this sense of closure at the end, even though it's left on a very ambiguous line. But yeah, she has this very intense look on her face, and when Dixon says he lives in Idaho, and then she says, oh, that's funny, I'm driving to Idaho in the morning. And then when she hangs up, she does look a bit unsure of herself in that moment. Like, oh, this is a stupid idea. But obviously she doesn't particularly want to admit that to Dixon. And it's just a really great dynamic. And then obviously in the car, they're not sure about killing him in the end.
To be honest, I would watch a sequel film that just is them on the road. Just them on the road. I would watch that on the way to Idaho. Just the 2 hour of them on the road. I would so watch that.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool. Somebody needs to talk to them about that. I think there's sequel potential.
Yeah. Any other acting moments that you liked?
The new police chief, when he came in there.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I quite like that. It's a subtle thing. It's just I haven't discussed it before. But I think he did a pretty good job, and he's not in it that much. And he's mainly just there to replace Woody Harrelson as chief. But I like how you don't think he's anybody, really. And then he's like, I'm the new police chief. And just the way he talks to Sam Rockwell, I just quite like that whole interaction.
I kind of like the scene between Mildred and Willoughby when he's alive, obviously.
Yeah.
When Mildred is in custody and they're trying to, like, outwit each other about the billboard situation fairly near the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And they're trading arguments. And then all of a sudden, like, Willoughby, like, coughs blood in her face.
Yeah.
And then immediately they're both just concerned about Willoughby's health. Like you would normally as a normal human being, and it just, you get this sense that there's just this mutual respect for each other, that all she really wants is just for the cops to do their job. She doesn't want him to die or anything, but obviously the town thinks that she's effectively killed him by putting extra stress on him, kind of thing.
That one bit in that scene, it kind of changes everything. It changes their dynamic, how you can see them in relation to each other. Because they're barbing, and it's like enemies. And then it's like, spits blood. He is going to die. It's like a visual reminder. He is going to die. And then I just love that she's so caring about him. It's like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, no, don't be sorry. Can somebody get here, And then even he, when he's being carted away, is just like, let her go. His plan that he said, I'll keep her in a holding cell. And then she won't be able to afford, she won't be able to work and then afford the billboards. Like, he's like, fuck all that noise, just let her go, He doesn't care about it, really, yeah.
There's a great moment of acting from both John Hawkes and Frances McDormand. Just before Charlie leaves the house, they have like a tender moment with each other. Like Charlie says, "Oh, the billboards won't bring her back," and then Mildred says, "The 19-year-old won't bring her back either." And then all of a sudden things get a bit heated again when Charlie says their daughter asked to live with him because of all the bitching going on between Mildred and the daughter, and he eventually said no. And obviously if things were different and he said yes, she might still be alive. And then McDormand gets like really quite emotional, like she doesn't believe him at all, and it's just really sudden, and a sudden outpouring of guilt from her, and that she wasn't prepared for, because obviously throughout most of this film she feel like she can handle most situations, but in that it leaves her completely off guard with that scene with Charlie. It's just a really great performance from McDormand in that moment. And again, one of my favourite bits, just a little bit, which I think only someone like Frances McDormand could pull off quite well, is when obviously she's so emotional about the fact that the billboards have burnt down, and she pretends to have a conversation with her slippers.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
Which have faces on them. And she's basically saying, like, fuck it, I've got nothing to lose now.
Yeah.
I'm going to burn the station down.
Yeah.
Do your fucking job.
What are you going to do with these motherfuckers? I'm going to crucify them.
Yeah. And again, there's another great funny moment when Mildred confronts Dixon about her friend's arrests. And she ends by saying, "Oh, what's with the new attitude, Dixon? Your mama been coaching you?" And Sam Rockwell's just like, "No, my mama doesn't do that. Actually." You know, again, the way Sam Rockwell delivers that, it's just fucking funny.
It's good.
Oh, and then he like misses a sweet, and he throws a sweet up, and then he misses it in his mouth. It's like, ah, shit.
Oh yeah. Also, do you remember the scene with her daughter? She has like a
little flashback.
little flashback. Yeah. Probably could have done with, I think, more daughter flashbacks.
I'm not so sure, really. I think all that scene was trying to say was just the fact that there's just immense guilt there for Mildred, that she wanted... I think that's the thing that's driving her with this, is the fact that because their relationship wasn't great, that she's just desperate to find justice for her, you know?
Yeah. Just
so she can get a sense of closure.
Do you remember the scene with, like, the deer? Where she sees
yeah,
a deer?
that was really nice. Yeah,
it was touching. Where she's like, "You're trying to make me think like believe in reincarnation or something like that." Yeah. It's like, you're not her, but you know, it's very nice you came here.
Again, like a really great subtle performance from Frances McDormand.
Yeah,
but again, laced with humour.
I think one of my favourite little lines is just at the tail end of, you know, his letter to his wife, Willoughby's. Yeah, and he says something along the lines of, you know, he gives this entire, you know, huge, very nice speech, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, to his wife, and then says something like, I'll see you on the other side. If there is no other side, then it's been heaven being with you. And I just really like that. I thought that was really sweet. Yeah.
Is that your favourite line?
Yeah, I just, you know, it stuck with me. I thought that's really sweet,
cool.
You know.
Have you got a favourite shot then?
Which one would you pick? You'd pick the...
I'm picking the one shot of...
Yeah,
of Dixon going up to
and throwing the dude out the window. Yeah, that was a good one. I think I might pick Dixon reading the letter while literally the entire office is on fire.
The only thing I don't like about that is that surely you notice the building's on fire.
Yeah, it would be hot, right?
Well, even the light from behind. Like, dude, the station's on fire. Get the fuck out. So, score for me for directing, I don't know. It's difficult. Certainly compared to Fargo, I gave 8.2. I think I'll go the same. I don't think there's too much different, really. No, I got a little bit higher because I think the POV shots and that tight shot of Mildred gripping the wine bottle is actually really clever and kind of really manipulates you.
I think it deserves to go higher. It's not like a jab at the Coen brothers, but there were a lot more inventive shots that kind of stick with me.
So I'll go like 8.4, I think.
Yeah.
How about you, sir?
I'm going to go an 8.6, I reckon.
So, screenplay, what was your favourite line? The persons of colour speech is mine.
The persons of colour one is... Yeah, I think that might be up there. I think that might be my favourite speech, yeah.
So score for me, I think it is funnier than Fargo. But this one, like it's funny. This film is really funny, but I felt more from this. I felt this one is slightly more powerful with the characters where they end up. You know, Dixon is fairly redeemed at the end, and Francis, you know, their relationship at the end is really, really nice.
Definitely
to watch.
I think the two. There were so many good characters in this film, in my opinion, like Willoughby, Francis, and everybody. You know, there's so many good characters. And I do think, you know, my favourite, the two, I would say, main characters are, you know, Sam Rockwell and Francis. And I just love their arcs, and they come together at the end, and it's brilliant, you know.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with, like, I'll go 8.7, actually.
Yeah, I think it sounds more like it.
Because it's really heartfelt at the end. It is emotional, really surprising, and really fucking funny. So, you know, 8.7.
Yeah.
How about you, sir?
I'm going to go, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to go a 9. I think this is actually one of, and I wasn't expecting it. I think this is the best thing. I wasn't expecting this. Wasn't expecting much. And I think this is actually like one of my favorite scripts that I think we've actually done. Like, I really do think this was very well done, you know. So I'm going to give it a 9. Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm as surprised as you are. I was like, I didn't think it would be this good, but I thought it was.
Because I was worried, like, with the sense of revenge, when it's not done in like a pulpy way. That does irk me and leaves a bit of a bad taste in your mouth at the end when it's not done like in a pulpy way. So, and I was worried it might fall into that. Certainly after the phone call, I'm like, you know. But when it leaves it like really ambiguous that they're not really going to kill him. Yeah. They'll just cap him in the kneecap or something.
Yeah, I think I was the same. I was worried it was going to like show them go to his house and blow his head off or something. And I didn't think that would really kind of suit it.
It ended perfectly for me.
I think, it ends with two characters who have obviously gone through a lot, going on a journey together.
So, favourite performance for me is Sam Rockwell, I think, for sure. Literally nearly every scene
I think he steals the
does.
show.
It's funny. It's just funny. They're then very, very, very closely followed by Frances McDormand. You know, they both won Oscars for this, so, you know.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you. You know, Sam Rockwell, just, oh man, he was just so good in this. Yeah. And I would follow very closely with.
But again, Woody Harrelson is great.
Woody Harrelson is great.
Overall, I'm going to score this quite high, I think. You know, Frances McDormand's character certainly goes for an awful lot in this film. There's an awful lot of range.
Yeah.
And with Sam Rockwell, I think it's so hard for a character like this to be really funny and really dark and really sympathetic at the end. I think it's an extraordinary performance from him. Yeah, so I'm going to go like 9.5, I think.
Wow, that's really high. Wow, that's pretty high.
Mainly because I'm just so pleased with the Oscars, the fact that they rewarded dark comedy performances. I think that's just great.
No, I do agree with you. I think particularly those two, who I say are the main characters, they do go through you go through a whole range of emotions, both with them and at them. Like, you know, the stuff they're doing, you're like, I'm angry. This is not right. To shit, I feel so sorry for you. They just do it all and be funny as well, you know, intentionally or unintentionally. I think maybe I'll go nearly that high. I'll meet you like halfway there, like 9.2. I think it was. It was really, really good, really, really good, really well acted.
Yeah, it's just Sam Rockwell is so watchable. He really is in this film.
Yeah. Best thing about Iron Man 2.
Yeah. But, I mean, if the film just focused on his character, if there was like a spin-off film of his, I would watch it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah,
you know. Right, let's add up the scores then for 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't mention this actually in scenes, but I thought it was amazing when Sam Rockwell got into the fight with that rapist guy, yeah?
Yeah.
Because he suspected him. And it's just the amazing detective work, because he's quite a buffoon, but the amazing detective work of, you know, writing down his license plate, you know, going out for that, and then getting a fight with him, and then he rushes home, and I thought he was trying to, like, he was fucked up from the fight, yeah?
Yeah.
and he's going around through the cabinets and stuff, but it was to get the bits of skin of the guy under his fingernails.
Yeah, that's why he scratched him. Yeah,
That's why he scratched it.
Get the DNA.
That blew my mind. I was like, oh my God. He's not...
Yeah, I really like that as well.
I love that reveal. I thought, oh no, maybe he's dying. Maybe the guy really... It's like, no,
Yeah.
he's getting evidence. I was like, oh, fucking hell. Yeah, that was clever. I like that.
3 Billboards gets 53.4, so that's a
Wow.
pretty decent score, which
Sounds
beats
good.
out Fargo this week. I think it is a worthy winner. Certainly acting and screenplay, for both films, to be fair,
Oh, yeah.
are pretty exceptional.
Yeah, definitely.
Much improvement from last week. I mean, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, what,
Anyway,
from Jason Statham? The Jason Statham crapathon. Yeah.
Right, next week we'll be talking Emma Stone films as she stars in the film Cruella, which is out on Disney+. So it'll be interesting to see what films certainly Boaz goes with. Will he go for a Spider-Man movie?
You already know the answer to that. Yeah.
All right.
It depends.
Cool.
Has there been a Spider-Man one we haven't done?
Well, we haven't done the Andrew Garfield.
Yeah,
ones,
that's true. That's true.
That's actually our most popular episode. It's the Spider-Man
Really?
episode.
Okay. More Spider-Man. Give the people what they want.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Right. Bye. See you, Boaz.
Sayonara.
That's it for this week's pod. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to find out more about the podcast or suggest future topics for us to discuss related to upcoming releases, let us know on Instagram at Film vs. Film Podcast and on Twitter at FVF_podcast. Remember, please subscribe. Pod signing off.